race of the 2019 Euroformula Open season. 13 laps around the iconic home of the Belgian Grand Prix await us in what should be another very keenly fought encounter as you join myself, Ben Evans, Elliot Wood alongside me on a very pleasant afternoon here in the Ardennes. A little bit of cloud cover, but it's not too breezy and perfect conditions really to go racing. This brings end what has been a very busy month for the Euroformula Open teams, but something that has been consistent is the pace of Marino Sato in qualifying. 4th pole position on the bounce. Yuki Tsunoda once more lines up in 2nd position, and then Jack Doohan in 3rd place, because actually we've got the same top 4 on the grid as we had for race 1. But I think the key for and Lucas Dunner and Jack Doohan from row 2, they will both be hoping for a better start than they had yesterday, because we look at the highlights from race 1, as Sato and Tsunoda rocketed clear, it was Doohan who bogged down, but also Lucas Dunner who was in a little bit of trouble, but somehow they all safely made it through the Eau Rouge hairpin. Christian Hahn, as ever, good value in his battle with Jack Doohan. Also making good progress from 8th on the grid was Liam Lawson in the early stages, and Billy Munger and Guilherme Samaia had a superb fight for the final points-paying place. Tepe Notori got caught out late on. That allowed Julian Hanses to slip through as Rui Andrade had a late spin on the exit of Fagnes. He more or less recovered okay. Victory of the campaign, and that was enough to further extend his championship lead, leading home teammates Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson. That was yesterday. Today, of course, an entirely different proposition. The grid already clear. Here is how then they line up for the 8th race of the year. Marino Sato and Yuki Tsunoda, an all-Japanese, all-team Motorpark front row from Jack Doohan and Lucas Dunner on row 2. Row 3 of the grid, Liam Lawson and Callum Williams, and then Julian Hanses and Christian Hahn on row 4. Row 5, Javier Gonzalez and Cameron Dass ahead of Tepe Notori and Linus Lundqvist, who couldn't get a clear lap in qualifying, so he has a lot to do from 12th. Nikolai Kjærgaard and Billy Munger will surely fight up from row 7. Pierre-Louis Chauvet and Rui Andrade both begin to lock into rhythm in qualifying. Franco Colapinto on his debut weekend lines up 17th ahead of Aldo Festante, and then Stefano Lini and teammate Stuart Wiltshire for CF Racing rounding out the field, Lini having a big spin in qualifying. So Marino Sato leading them round on the formation lap. They've got 13 laps or 35 minutes depending on whether or not we have any safety cars. And what we saw yesterday, Elliot, was Marino Sato was well away, and although Yuki Tsunoda pressurised in mid-race, he was never really threatened for that lead.
Yeah, he was very comfortable in the car, and he did a great job keeping it on the track, keeping it smooth, because we did see a lot of, later in the race, some of the tyres got a bit worn and cars were sliding. Marino Sato looked super comfortable when the car was like that.
And the funny thing was, he didn't look like that in qualifying at all. But it goes to show the work that these drivers put in between sessions. Now, for Lucas Dunner, he had problems, as indeed has Stefano Lini, who gives the thumbs up, but that is not what you want to see at the rear of a car on the formation lap.
Yeah, are they working on the drive shaft, it appears?
Yeah, something, or the gearbox even, which is bad news in however you want to spin it, as the pack heading towards Pouhon. Yeah, Lucas Dunner, as we say, yesterday didn't get off the line brilliantly, then ran wide at Les Combes on the first lap, and that seemed to give some damage to the car, and it meant that Dunner, who is still 4th in the championship standing, scored his first non-finish of the year. And consistency all important in the Euroformula Open. Javier Gonzalez there for Ipe Motorsport, having a good weekend. They skipped a couple of rounds to change engine, and he's been consistently top 10.
Yeah, he's been very impressive on his championship return, and he didn't actually have much F3 experience before this year, so he's come in very fresh, you could say, and he's performed on the spot straight away.
Well, the big talking point this weekend has actually come off track, which was the unveiling on Friday of the Dallara 320, which is the car that will be used in Euroformula next year, and really exciting to see this championship taking forward this new car, and great things ahead. Yeah,
the new car, the Dallara 320, is a certain development on, and it's taken ideas from Dallara's other designs in Spa-Francorchamps and IndyCar, and it put all those features in the car for this championship specifically. It looks great, and actually the customers, some of the teams in Euroformula Open can turn their current cars into a 320, which is pretty cool.
And that, which has always been part of the ethos of this championship, helps keep the cost down relative to some other categories, while still visiting circuits that these drivers will all want to race on later on in their careers at the wheel of a Formula One car. For now, though, it is a case of the job ahead as they have completed the formation lap. And Marino Sato rolling into position front of the grid. He is the black car with the red nose cone on the left of your picture. The Red Bull livery car with the yellow nose cone of Yuki Tsunoda alongside him. Then it is the black, red and silver car of Jack Doohan, the white car of Lucas Dunner. Those are the ones to watch for as the first 6 or so rows are all in position. And with a large grid this weekend, they're going to have a little bit of a wait for the rest of them to find their marks, which they have all done. So the green flag waved at the back of the pack. It's eyes to the gantry time for the 8th time this season. As the revs rise, the lights are on. They're out. It's a brilliant start from Yuki Tsunoda. It's a terrible getaway once more from Jack Doohan. And we've got Cameron Dass stranded on the grid as Sato recovers. Liam Lawson has rocketed up as well, and he challenges Tsunoda as they head through La Source for the first time and plunge on downhill. Billy Munger out a little bit wide as they're going to be 3 wide. Callum Williams part of that towards Eau Rouge. That is going to be an almighty sort out. Linus Lundqvist also well away. Julian Hans is part of that scrap. Oh, lots of them running very wide, coming out of Ratignolle onto the Kemmel Straight for the first time. Yuki Tsunoda, Marino Sato, Munger goes off in the background onto the grass, and Liam Lawson is challenging for the lead, but it's Yuki Tsunoda who tips into Les Combes out front. Lawson behind. Then it's Marino Sato 3rd. 4th is Lucas Dunner. In 5th, it's Jack Doohan. So despite the poor getaway, he's still there in 5th. 6th, Javier Gonzalez, and Linus Lundqvist up to 7th from 12th on the grid. Everybody else at the moment is fighting for 8th.
Yeah, and we still, Cameron Dass's car stalled on the grid, so we're hoping they can clear that out of the way by the time our leaders come back through. And there's a move here, Nikolai Sjøgaard. He's fighting with one of the DriveX school cars. I believe that's Franco Colapinto. He must have made a few places at the start there.
And Lucas Dunner applying a little bit of pressure to Marino Sato as well, as Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson trying to break free early on. And Marino Sato must have made a little bit of mistake somewhere. And Linus Lundqvist also back in that pack as out of Fania. Jack Doohan runs slightly wide. That gives Javier Gonzalez the chance to apply a little bit of pressure. And Dunner has got a decent run here on Sato as they come out of Stavolo, and the same for Linus Lundqvist on Javier Gonzalez. You can barely see the car of Lucas Dunner. Here he comes. He's not going to try to the outside line at Blanchimont. Surely not. As they go in side by side, and Dunner's going to go for it. Can he pull the pin and pull it off? That's brilliant driving from Lucas Dunner. Now, can he pull it off on the brakes? No, Sato chops across his bows. Meanwhile, Javier Gonzalez back to the inside. Oh, around goes Linus Lundqvist. Contact with Javier Gonzalez as Lundqvist had got ahead. Gonzalez looked to fight back. They tangle, and it is Lundqvist who's rotated.
Yeah, now, just under half a second between top 2 at front. Yuki Tsunoda is Liam Lawson. There's a locked brake there from Julian Hanses, who's in 7th place, just ahead of Carlins Tapinatori. The shot returns to the front. We got top 2 cars, and Lundqvist did get going again. He's just gone past our commentary box. So that's good news for him.
Now, what will the Kemmel Straight offer us this time around? They've all got absolutely flattened rear wings, and this is where the slipstreaming comes to the fore as Tepe Natori challenges, as does Liam Lawson, and Lawson moves ahead of Yuki Tsunoda and takes the lead of the race. So Lawson goes into the front, Tsunoda chasing him. In third, Marino Sato reasonably secure, as best we can tell. Yep, he's there in third. Fourth is still done, and fifth is Doohan. And then sixth is Julian Hanses. As here's another look at the start. And once more, Jack Doohan just bogging down to the left of your picture as Liam Lawson made a lightning getaway to challenge for the podium placings into La Source. And then through Radion for the first time. Quite how this didn't end in a monstrous incident, I do not know. And then as they came through, Billy Munger was squeezed out onto the grass, possibly by Christian Hahn then.
Good save when he got it back on track to keep it straight. And we've got a replay of Lundqvist being pitched into the air by Javier Gonzalez there.
Linus Lundqvist was actually quite fortunate not to end up on his roll hoop, because the car was up, balancing, down it comes, thump. But
seemingly damage-free as he's got going again, and he's been setting respectable times at the back.
And he will have not been too impressed with that. Javier Gonzalez was determined to reclaim the position, and now it's the turn of Tepe Natori to take the fight to Javier Gonzalez. On towards Blanchimont they go, as Yuki Tsunoda is right up with Liam Lawson, and Marino Sato trying to get on terms with him. Jack Doohan, his car really is slipping and sliding in these early stages in fifth. Sixth is Julian Hanses. So the Team Motorpark trio, they fly in formation, and this will be pretty nervous for the team on the pit wall, because with the slipstream effect, they're going to be able to swap places almost at will on the run down the Kemmel Straight for the next 11 or so laps. And look, Yuki Tsunoda is very ready to make the move on Liam Lawson, and Marino Sato is right with them too.
Sato will have the best run there, as his run won't be compromised by being too close to the car in front. We will get the power of the slipstream. There's one of the RP cars getting very close, and they're free wide down the Kemmel Straight. Sato's tucked back into the slipstream. I believe Yuki Tsunoda's back into the lead, but we've got both coming into the next corner, and it looks like Tsunoda going side by side.
Oh, they made contact! Again. Oh, and crashing out Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda. They interlock wheels coming out of Les Combes, and the Red Bull cars are minced against the tyre wall. And, well, Lawson was determined not to give the lead away, but there are still 10 laps to go in the race.
And we've already seen that this season between those two, Paul Ricard, and Lawson did the same to his other teammate, Julian Hanses. Thankfully, both look happy, well, not happy, healthy and out of the car.
They're uninjured. The safety car is on standby, not unsurprisingly. And, well, here is another look at it then. So Lawson challenges to the outside. It's very hard to apportion blame from that angle, because you could make a case that Yuki Tsunoda just didn't give any room to Liam Lawson. And
Lawson rode a bit too much curb, that he didn't have the traction when he then wanted to turn. The car just wouldn't respond to his movements.
Absolute dejection there in the Teo Martin Motorsport pit at seeing the incident. More dejection on the Team Motorpark pit wall. And I think the takeaway from that is, as the safety car is deployed, they just didn't give each other enough racing room, and that always risks the contact. So out comes safety car. Marino Sato leads the way from Lucas Dunner and Jack Doohan. A conference underway between Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda, and both of them pretty furious with that, I'd imagine. Right, once more through Les Combes, and you're right, over the curb. Lawson's not got the traction, but there's no margin for error left for him by Yuki Tsunoda, and therefore an interlocking of wheels somewhat inevitable. So, two of the championship front runners out of the race.
Motorpark team principal Timo Remfkal, who will not be happy with his drivers. He's had quite a few talking downs to them over the season so far, and we're only in race 8 of the year.
Yeah, and they're going to have a month or so to contemplate this before next in action at the Hungaroring.
It's a very sad-looking Yuki Tsunoda there. But they'll be waiting to get back to the pits. It'll be a very long walk back, if they do walk.
I don't know. Judging by Timo's face then, I think the long walk is possibly preferable to what will await them in the pit garage. But the most important thing is actually that the drivers are okay. And, well, there is a long and inglorious history of incidents at Les Combes in races such as this. David Salins and Frank Montagnier at the end of the 1990s having a gigantic incident. Lance Stroll a couple of years ago in European Formula 3.
Jaime Alguersuari, 2009 Belgian Grand Prix. Jenson Button was involved in that one as well.
It's a corner that invites ambition. So we have lost, unfortunately, from the race now, Yuki Tsunoda, Liam Lawson and Cameron Dass. For Marino Sato, this is...
Drivers are taking the scenic route, the escape road at the end of the Camel Straight. It's a new line they'll only be taking under the safety car.
So for Marino Sato, this is an opportunity now, actually, to build a really quite comprehensive lead at the top of the championship. He would be, if it stays as it is, the first driver to complete the clean sweep in the Euroformula Open this year in terms of 2 race wins in a weekend.
And if he does win this race, he will have enough points to essentially skip the next round of the season and still be in the championship lead. So Sato's picking up points, but he's also putting in a great performance. But obviously, a safety car restart, long Kemmel straight, Lucas Dunner could overtake him, and all of this hypothetical was about Sato out the window.
Absolutely, and it gives other drivers a real crack at a podium and a race victory who may not have been in that position so far this year. In terms of the rookie category, by the way, that's now Jack Doohan who leads that from Tepe Naturi and Javier Gonzalez. The incident involving Tsunoda and Lawson under investigation up at turn 5, and well, this is what championship like the Euroformula Open is all about. These drivers are learning their racecraft, they're learning how to set up the cars, but I think the frustration from the team will be to say it was clear none of you had got a decisive buffer. Was it too early in the race to really be doing that sort of thing? The good news is the safety car is going to be in at the end of this lap. And so we will be back racing as Lucas Dunner and Jack Doohan still pushing very hard. And so for Lucas Dunner, the chance of 18 points is going to put him up there in very close to Yuki Tsunoda for 3rd in the championship standings if he is able to stay where he is. But there are a lot of ifs in play at the moment. There at the back of the train is Linus Lundqvist, just behind Stuart Wiltshire.
Now, wondering if Lundqvist possibly lost a little bodywork in that clash we saw on lap 1, and that may make him a little quicker and lighter car.
Well, whether or not it has, given the level of preparation of these cars, if it has made the handling a little bit unpleasant for him, we'll also find out. One more look. And the trouble being, once the wheels are interlocked like that, there is no...
We're getting a highlight reel of all the emotional reactions to that crash, and we got the
varying
restart.
reactions, it's safe to say, as we get back underway. Marino Sato has judged that very well, as in the background, Franco Colapinto is applying a little bit of pressure to get Kiergaard as they head into La Source. That's bringing Pierre-Louis Chauvet into the mix as well as they head round the hairpin and then down towards the Bonneau Rouge, climbing up and then on towards the Kemmel Straight. Who is going to be the beneficiary of the tow this time around? We've had 1 lap added to the race distance, still a max time of 35 minutes, as now Jack Doohan's got the run on Lucas Dunner, and Doohan is through up into 2nd position. Tepe Naturi still got Julian Hansers just ahead of him, so they all swing through Les Combes. Nobody in trouble. One of the Teo Martin motorsport cars, that's Guilherme Samaya, takes to the escape route.
Both of the Teo Martin cars there, because I believe Rui Andrade, a driver at school, passed both of them.
Good spot, and it meant they possibly just went a little bit too hot into Les Combes. So from Marino Sato, he is trying to break away from the rest of the field. In terms of time left on the clock, we've got 22.5 minutes. We've got 10 laps to go, including the one that they are currently on.
Oh, and Julian Hanses, I believe that was, no, Nikolai Zajgaard went over the curbs and into the air slightly there. He was off several places, and another driver seemed to do the same further back, just outside of our picture as we followed the cars in front.
And this is always the challenge through Pouhon, particularly as the AstroTurf on the exit can be very slippery. Somebody else, possibly Franco Colapinto, putting a wheel into the gravel on the exit of the Courbe Paul Frere. And here was that moment, and up he goes. And that was not a bad distance either from Kjærgaard. So now the sort out into the braking zone at the bus stop chicane. Christian Hahn challenging Callan Williams. They are fighting over 7th and 8th position. Cleme Samaya has got a queue behind him. Linus Lundqvist trying to fight on up through the order.
Rui Andrade did go wide. He dropped down to 16th behind Lundqvist, and Samaya's got past Colapinto. We're seeing the battle between one of the Fortec cars and Christian Hahn. That would be Callan Williams as they come down to Eau Rouge. And Sato's already got quite a lead up front, over 1.4 seconds. So he's pretty much escaped the tow. But we've just got half a second between Doohan and Dunner. So hopefully our picture will show the leaders again, and we'll see what's going to be happening in the battle at the front.
Now, is Lucas Dunner close enough to Jack Doohan? Not this time around down the Kemmel Straight, and Julian Hansen's not quite close enough either. In the background, Christian Hahn and Callan Williams continuing to squabble, and Hahn's going to fancy his chances here around the outside at Les Combes, and he is able to pull it off. That's a good move from Christian Hahn. He judged the space available very nicely.
And that's the move Liam Lawson tried attempting on Yuki Tsunoda earlier, and that's how it's done. And Callan Williams looking at going back past again. He thinks better of it at the Brussels hairpin.
And what Callan Williams did was he just left a little bit of a margin in case it all went sideways for Christian Hahn. It didn't, and Hahn was through and gone. But now Lucas Dunner is right with Jack Doohan through the middle sector of this lap, as Marino Sato is trying to check out at the front of the field. Julian Hansen, perhaps surprisingly, not making inroads into Doohan and Dunner. So they fight for second place. And Jack Doohan didn't have the greatest start to the race, but he's more than made amends for it. Of course, helped by the incident that brought out the safety car.
It looks like Christian Hahn, timing screen's updating, as Hahn is past Williams, and Pierre-Louis Chevet seems to have dropped down the order. This may be a repeat of what we saw in qualifying, where his transponder didn't pick up in Sector 2, and it kept showing him jumping up and down the order. So that continues through the race. Beware, that's the issue. And Dunner's looking at Doohan for second place at the very end of the lap. Thought better of it, but he's going to line the car up perfectly down the pit straight.
He just needs to get the exit from the source, doesn't he, to really hassle Jack Doohan on the Kemmel Straight. But Lucas Dunner may fancy a chance before then into the hairpin. The pair of them on the brakes. They turn around La Source and on down towards Eau Rouge and Radion. They've got Julian Hanses behind them, the German having shaken off.
Linus Lundqvist going past Franco Colapinto for 13th at the end of the pit straight. So he's already risen up from the very back of the order. And remember on lap 1, he was in the air.
And Lucas Dunner has got the toe this time on Jack Doohan. I'd suggest as they come out of Radion. And is he going to be near enough to make the challenge into Les Combes? Doohan just has a little bit of a weave, trying to break the toe from Lucas Dunner. Dunner is there or thereabouts, but not able to push past the double R car. And the relative characteristics of these cars so far this race suggests to me that Doohan has got a slightly flatter wing profile because he's slipping in the corners, unlike Lucas Dunner, but Dunner can't get the slingshot past on the straights.
Yeah, Dunner's been able to use a lot more of the curb. He's been comfortable with the car being slightly looser on corner entry. Did look like further back as well, the battle between Christian Hahn, Javier Gonzalez and Callan Williams. So they're now in 6th, 7th and 8th. So Williams was right behind Hahn. We didn't see what happened there.
And it is Hahn from Gonzalez and Williams. And then we've got Pierre-Louis Chauvet with Aldo Fustante just behind. They are all still inside the top 10 at the moment. And Linus Lundqvist, he may yet retrieve some points from this race because he's almost back where he started.
He's faster than practically everyone below the top 4. So he is one of the fastest cars on the track right now. Tepe Notori's got past Julian Hanses.
So what happened there? Because he was somewhere adrift. Julian Hanses has had a problem. He's disappeared from our timing screen. So where has the team motor park runner gone because he's not come through sector 2. Now, is that a transponder for Julian Hanses, or is that something rather more significant? There is Notori, and I'm not seeing Julian Hanses. He's not come through sector 2 yet.
No sign of Hanses at all from the commentary box window.
Oh, yes, he's right there. He's sitting right behind Lucas Dunner. So his transponder possibly didn't come into play last time around, as lots of jinky and jostling, as the order is still Marino Sato at half race distance from Jack Doohan, then Lucas Dunner and Julian Hanses, with Tepe Notori 5th, Christian Hahn 6th, Javier Gonzalez, who we watch now, in 7th, with Callum Williams just behind him in 8th, and then it's group behind him again. Lucas Dunner's got the run on Doohan. He's close and he was a lap ago, heading towards Les Combes. Dunner jinks out. Can he get the traction to the outside line? Yes, he can! And through goes Lucas Dunner into second place. Very well judged move from the Austrian, and now Jack Doohan's got to focus immediately, as he kicks up on the curbs there, Lucas Dunner, on the progress of Julian Hanses right behind him.
Great move by Dunner, and as we saw on the curbs, I think that's what he did as he made the overtake. He used the curb to turn the car around and then get on the throttle earlier than Jack Doohan. And Doohan's now under pressure on Julian Hanses. It'll be very difficult for Hanses to get past right now as they go down to Pouon, but it's looking a little slower now, Doohan.
I'm not so much sure he's slower. It's possible he was just the cork in the bottle a little bit for Lucas Dunner, and now the Double R Racing man, Jack Doohan, has got his work cut out to keep Team Motorpark's Julian Hanses behind him as the clouds roll in. We're not expecting any rain.
No, the weather forecast says 0% chance of precipitation,
which means it's probably going to rain in the next lap or so.
Yep.
As out of Stavolo comes Jack Doohan. He has got Julian Hanses tucked right behind him, as Lucas Dunner has really used that middle sector to very good effect to build up a seconds buffer already over Jack Doohan, and that means Dunner won't be under threat in the tow towards Les Combes this time around. Julian Hanses, for a moment, looked like he was maybe considering a little bit of a manoeuvre on the way into the bus stop chicane. Out they both blast.
Marino Sato's just set the fastest lap of the race up front at 2:12.275.
And his lead now over Lucas Dunner, 3.6 seconds pretty much, as Julian Hanses is lined up very nicely for a move on Jack Doohan. Here is a look at what happened a lap ago. Lucas Dunner swiping around the outside, and Jack Doohan had no option but to let him go. Delight for the Teo Marti Motorsport team. Almost turned to dismay when Dunner just had that moment up over the curbs, as Callum Williams has got a pretty decent run here on Javier Gonzalez, but Julian Hanses has got a very good run on Jack Doohan into Les Combes. Doohan, though, is going to try and squeeze out Julian Hanses. He does just that. Well defended. Doohan is still the top rookie in the race, from Tepe Notori and Javier Gonzalez as well.
And Billy Munger's got past Franco Colapinto for 14th place. He did look for a move at turn 1, he didn't complete it. So I imagine he got past the Argentinian debutant at the end of the Kemmel Straight.
I would be very surprised when it all, when we get another look at them, if Callum Williams, no, he isn't ahead of Javier Gonzalez. He was thousandths of a second behind him as they went through the end of the sector, which would have meant he was side by side. It's down through Pouon. We're on the 9th lap of the race, which is now 14 laps because of the 1-2 they had behind the safety car, as Festante looks to the inside Pierre-Louis Chauvet.
That would have been a very ambitious move there by Festante, and that's allowed his Teo Marti Motorsport teammate Guilherme Samaya and Double R Racing's Linus Lundqvist to catch up behind.
And
train of about 6 or 7 cars now.
Linus Lundqvist is currently in 12th place. Here is Billy Munger in 14th, and Billy just not quite able to latch into this group, as Festante looking to the inside of Pierre-Louis Chauvet on the way towards Blanchimont, and again decides that that's not maybe the greatest of ideas, but it does mean that he's vulnerable to a challenge, somebody locking their brakes into the bus stop chicane, as Callum Williams is up ahead of Javier Gonzalez. So Callum Williams has snuck past Linus Lundqvist as well, to the inside of Aldo Festante. Christian Hahn doing a really good job actually of reeling in teammate Tepe Notori in 6th position. And Lundqvist now just 1 place away from being in the points. But here is the fight for the last spot on the rostrum as Julian Hanses again looks to line up the manoeuvre on Jack Doohan as they come out of Radion onto the Kemmel Straight, and Hanses should be able to propel himself through. And Jack Doohan made his defensive manoeuvre early, and Hanses swoops past and takes 3rd place. And that again was fair driving. Doohan had to defend early on in the straight, as behind Gonzalez back ahead of Callum Williams, Guilherme Samaya ahead of Pierre-Louis Chauvet, and Linus Lundqvist watching it all unfold in front of him. As the field plunged down through the Bruxelles hairpin. Here is another look at the move from Hanses on Doohan, and Doohan, he went to the inside line, couldn't squeeze out Julian Hanses going back the other way, and through goes Julian Hanses. Not really much to be said for Biohire and the RR Racing team. Now will Jack Doohan get the opportunity to fight back? So the fight that we're really watching is the one for 7th position, which seems to be involving much of the rest of the field, because out front it is Marino Sato, who's 4.1 seconds clear of Lucas Dunner. Julian Hanses is there in 3rd. Jack Doohan in 4th is the top rookie, ahead of Tepe Notori, who has still got teammate Christian Hahn right with him. And Guilherme Samar, Ronaldo Festante, they didn't have the greatest qualifying session, but in race spec, the Teo Marti Motorsport drivers go well as Linus Lundqvist moves ahead of Pierre-Louis Chauvet on the run out of Stavelot towards Blanchimont, as Williams was going to have a look to the inside. I'm waiting to see the outcome. Williams lunged to the inside of Javier Gonzalez, and Gonzalez rejoins. He will say that he was forced off the road by the Australian. Everybody fighting for ground here as Samaya, Guilherme Samaya, in the white Teo Marti Motorsport car to the outside of the white Fortec car of Callum Williams, the black and Swedish flag livery car of Linus Lundqvist in the mix. Here was Williams to the inside of Javier Gonzalez, almost tapping each other.
That may have been the locked brake we did here on the last lap. And that is one of Teo Martin cars on Nicolò Jaegard. That'd be Aldo Festante. I think Lundqvist has lined up another move and completed it on one of the cars ahead.
And Linus Lundqvist is alongside Callum Williams as Samar and Chauvet go side by side. And Linus Lundqvist glides past and up into 8th position. So this is quite the remarkable recovery drive from Linus Lundqvist. He qualified 12th, had contact, went to the very back of the field, and is now back up into 8th. It's not quite where he'd want to be, but it's still point salvage from a race where it looked unlikely as Samaya snatches a break, but Pierre-Louis Chauvet can't quite dive back through.
Yeah, and looking at the battle up front, Lucas Dunner is 4.8 seconds behind Sato now, but he's still got just over a second in hand over Julian Hanses. At the end of yesterday's race, we did see Hanses be one of the quickest on track.
We've seen that a couple of times, haven't we, from Julian Hanses this season, and he is bringing Jack Doohan with him for company as well. Tepe Notori, again, his car just looks a little bit skittish, doesn't it? He clearly favours a very, very stiff setup, as he's got Christian Hahn looming onto his tail in the fight for 5th and 6th place. Into Blanchimont they go. Out of the left-hander, and is Christian Hahn near enough to Tepe Notori? Not really, but Notori snatches his brakes, has a big lock-up, flat spots the tyres, and actually Christian Hahn, his positioning was just such that he couldn't quite take advantage of it. The rest of them arrive into Notori's smoke screen. Callum Williams just ahead of Guilherme Samaya, as Hahn is right with Tepe Notori. They are into the 12th lap of the race, so just 3 to go. And we are just about going to get the race completed before the clock ticks to 0. As out of Eau Rouge they come, over the crest at Radion. Oh, and Christian Hahn might be a little bit close to Tepe Notori this early on the run down the Kemmel Straight. Meanwhile, Jack Doohan is with Julian Hanses still trying to fight back on the German as Hahn goes through past Nattori. Nattori then looks to retaliate. Oh, that's a lot of weaving from both of them, as Linus Lundqvist is through ahead of Javier Gonzalez. So Linus Lundqvist goes 7th. Christian Hahn takes 5th. And this, another feisty drive from Christian Hahn. But what we have seen this year from Christian that maybe we didn't in previous seasons is just this level of consistency now over a race pace. He's not making mistakes that maybe he did a year ago, and is consistently up there inside the top 10.
Yeah, you normally see him at the very beginning of the races being very attacking, and that would kind of fade throughout, but now he's kept that going for longer distances. We've got a train of cars here from, I believe, 7th place or 6th place, Tepe Nattori, going all the way back to the end of the points. So it could be all change in the second half of the order still.
It certainly could be. Lundqvist is just ahead of Javier Gonzalez, and Gonzalez has now got Callum Williams back with him. And then it's Guilherme Samaya in the white car with the red nose cone. Pierre-Louis Chauvet, the second of the RP Motorsport runners, as well tucked in behind. And who this time around is going to have the run? Possibly none of them. And the frustration in all of this is for Billy Munger in 13th, who just lost the toe to this group early on, and he's not quite been able to punch the way back through the air to get onto terms, as Callum Williams has got a chance to challenge Javier Gonzalez, and he takes it, draws alongside Gonzalez, gets the car stopped in time and eases through. That's a really well executed move from Callum Williams. Used the slipstream to very good effect, but Gonzalez looking to fight back straight away.
As Guilherme Samaya locks a brake behind, and he's locked his tyres up on both sides of the car now, so they would probably be feeling a little worn.
At least it's evenly balanced.
Yes.
As out of the hairpin, down towards Eau Rouge, and thundering on their way. And you can imagine post-race these drivers will be all smiles, because they, I would hope, thoroughly enjoying this as much as we are, as Gonzalez and Williams. Oh, and Callum Williams puts Javier Gonzalez 2 wheels onto the grass. Gonzalez looks to fight back, and he's still on the grass as they head all the way down the Kemmel Straight. Callum Williams eventually has to concede the place to Javier Gonzalez. Robust defence from Callum Williams. Absolute fearlessness from Javier Gonzalez, and he reclaims 8th position.
Brilliant driving by Gonzalez. It was very hard to hit the brakes with so much dust and dirt on your tyres there. And it looks like Williams is already under pressure from Samaya again, although there is a train of cars behind those, so Samaya could possibly be defending as well from the second RP Motorsport car, Pierre-Louis Chauvet.
And they're on the penultimate lap. It's still Marino Sato who leads. He is about 20 seconds up the road ahead of this group of cars, so he doesn't have to worry about them.
5 seconds cover 7th place to 14th at the moment.
It is once more a very good advertisement for why we love coming to Spa in this championship, because these cars can race wheel to wheel. And actually, despite that incident that we had early on that brought out the safety car, thus far it's been tough, but it has been clean in terms of being contact free. As now Aldo Festante has got a decent opportunity to challenge Nikolai Kiergaard, as Guilherme Samaya looks to do likewise to Callum Williams through Blanchimont, and Williams will have to cover the inside line here. Which way does Guilherme Samaya go? He has to look to the outside, then darts to the inside, snatches his brake and goes straight on. And that tyre is going to be flatter than my singing voice by the time he gets going again, because he was locked up.
And Nikolai Kiergaard further back must have made a mistake as well, because he's dropped several positions. He's behind Billy Munger, so he's outside the points now.
Here's another look at it, and Samaya went for it, and then, well, he had that tyre fully locked for
just
several seconds.
The RP Motorsport car as well, Javier Gonzalez. That could have been very nasty. And Kiergaard followed him in going off at the last chicane.
Yeah, and Samaya hasn't as yet rejoined, has he? No, he hasn't.
And an incident involving Christian Hahn and Tepe Nattori is currently under investigation by the stewards.
That is, as we follow the progress now of Marino Sato. And Sato, well, this has been an imperious weekend for him, because he is going to have pole position, fastest lap and race victory in both races. And despite everything that has been going on around him, it is Marino Sato who has been utterly dominant once more.
Yep, hugely impressive job by Marino Salto, who's upped his game so much this season. And yes, he was a little lucky in his two teammates crashing today, but the fact that we haven't seen him put a mistake in at all during this race.
But part of the reason why Sonoda and Lawson may have come together is that Sato had reeled them in and was right with them, making it a three-way fight for the lead. But Marino Sato, he's not finished outside the top 6 in any race so far this season.
Yeah, he started today with a car problem, actually. And at the beginning of qualifying, his team put a huge shift in to get the car ready and sorted and put it on track. And he ended up putting on pole by 3/4 of a second. A hugely impressive job.
So into the bus stop chicane then for the final time from Marino Sato. He has been the king of Spa this weekend. 2 fastest laps, 2 pole positions and 2 race victories. A 4th win of the year for Marino Sato, with home in 2nd place to Lucas Dunner for Teo Marti Motorsport, and Julian Hanses fending off Jack Doohan for 3rd at the line. Doohan, however, coming across as the top rookie. Christian Hahn then into 5th from Tepe Naturi and Linus Lundqvist. The rest of the points places going to Javier Gonzalez in 8th, Callum Williams in 9th, and Pierre-Louis Chauvet rounding out the top 10. Just ahead of Aldo Fustante and Billy Munger. Nikolai Kjærgaard fading late on. So a thrilling race in the Euroformula Open once more. Absolutely scintillating racing all the way through the field, and so many talking points and dramas to consider. That coming together between Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson early on that brought out the safety car. But it is Marino Sato who rolls into victory lane once more. He has done the double in Spa this weekend. He and Team Motor Park celebrate accordingly. Job done from Sato. 2 wins, clean sweep of the weekend. And he will go to weigh in. Handshake with teammate Julian Hanses as we look at the final classification. So the victory from Marino Sato ahead of Lucas Dunner and Julian Hanses. Jack Doohan in 4th and the top rookie, with Christian Hahn a fine drive to 5th, ahead of Tepe Naturi and Linus Lundqvist, who round out the rookie podium. Javier Gonzalez and Callum Williams, what a fight between them for 8th and 9th, and Pierre-Louis Chauvet rounding out the top 10. Aldo Fustante and Billy Munger just outside the points, with Nikolai Kjærgaard in 13th, Franco Colapinto and Rui Andrade 14th and 15th, Stuart Welch home 16th, with then Guilherme Samaya, Cameron Dass, Yuki Tsunoda, Liam Lawson and Stefano Lini all hitting trouble, but in particular the talking point being that instant and coming together between Tsunoda and Lawson. So in the Drivers' Championship then, Marino Sato now 54 points clear of Liam Lawson, with Yuki Tsunoda in 3rd, Lucas Dunner in 4th, but in touching distance of both Lawson and Tsunoda. Julian Hanses steadily adding to his tally, as are Jack Doohan and Lundqvist.
Marino Sato, winner again, but things didn't really go as planned.
Well, yeah, the start was not optimum. Yeah, obviously, Yuki and Liam were strong in the first lap. Couldn't defend that. But yeah, once we took the lead, the pace was always good and consistent. So yeah, it was a very good weekend for us.
It seems that your teammates sometimes give you some help in a way.
Well, yeah, we're all racing hard, so it can happen sometimes, I think.
It's all good for you. You are a stronger leader in the points. Enjoy the podium now. Well done.
So as the lights went out, it was Yuki Tsunoda who got the jump on Marino Sato as Jack Doohan bogged down and Liam Lawson rocketed away as the field darted towards the hairpin at La Source for the first time. They all made it through cleanly, although one or two of them scattered wide. It was then quite the sort-out as they came out of Radignan, and the first few laps of the race were frantic. Javier Gonzalez coming together with Linus Lundqvist over at the chicane. This, though, the talking point in the battle between Lawson and Tsunoda. They interlock wheels and both cars pirouetting off into the tyre barrier and out of the race. That elevated Sato to a lead that he wouldn't relinquish, as behind Christian Hahn did a superb job of moving on up through the order. There was some brilliant fighting going on for the lower placings inside the top 10 as Lucas Dunner swept around Jack Doohan to move into second place. A few laps later, it's the turn of Julian Hanses to apply the pressure to Doohan, and despite the best defensive efforts of Jack Doohan, there was nothing he could do. So it was a fourth victory of the season for Marino Sato, a clean sweep of the weekend in Spa, giving him a big championship lead heading to the Hungaro ring, with Lucas Dunner and Julian Hanses completing the podium. Jack Doohan, top rookie, in fourth. So on to the third step of the rostrum for Julian Hanses, runner-up Lucas Dunner, and Marino Sato for Team Motorpark, a fourth triumph of the year. So the Japanese national anthem to salute Marino Sato. Let's move on to the presentation of the trophies. Third place to Julian Hanses. Fine drive from the German up through the field. Runner-up Lucas Dunner, back on to the rostrum for the third time this season. And he is still very much in the hunt, with then race winner Marino Sato. And Team Motorpark, another victory for the German squad. So the drivers posing for the photos. We are back in action at the Hungaro ring in the first weekend of July. Do make sure that you join us there. Always a track which produces interesting racing for the Euroformula Open. So a brilliant weekend of racing here in Spa. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. We'll see you Hungary in a few weeks' time.